Such a task is indeed overwhelming from a purely natural perspective, but the moral virtues, such as purity, are facilitated by the theological virtues of faith, hope, and charity. That is, they are enabled by grace. Additionally, there is no greater devotion for instilling the virtue of purity than devotion to the Blessed Mother. So we can't, again, another favorite thing Satan, wants to say is, oh, that, this particular thing isn't helping me, I can do without it. We can't do it on our own. We have to have grace. We have to have the power of prayer. Pray the rosary daily. No, it's not under the pain of sin, but we are all required to have a devotion to the Blessed Mother. Doesn't have to be 20 decades. 5 is a good standard. Very consistent and aiding in this effort. But it doesn't do in itself, does it? And I often use the analogy of the spirituality that we have being kind of like vitamins. You ever saw the guy who thinks he's going to be healthy by taking vitamins? But if he doesn't take care of himself otherwise, if he doesn't eat right, doesn't exercise, then the vitamins aren't going to do it on their own. So prayer won't do it by itself either without our participation, without our action, because the vitamins assist the body to operate properly and then to function properly. So the prayer and spirituality enables us to go out and do the action. It fuels that action that we're supposed to be doing. As he says here, nonetheless, the installation of purity requires more than prayer and devotion. It requires mortification of the body and appetites. It is here that the young man must do violence unto himself and embrace the cross of Christ. He must know Christ crucified through self-control and self-discipline, and view any shirking of these traits as emasculating and disloyal to Christ. So again, we have the ability to channel this power that we have as men, that only men have, into physical activity instead of letting it go wild like the majority of society does, channeling it into something constructive and productive. So we need to have our sons doing physical things. Physical work, if possible, yard work around the house, property, construction, whatever we might have available to us. Exercise and sports of some sort is often a good outlet for this, to let it run its course. Mortifications, doing violence, and we don't mean like some of those saints that would throw themselves into thorny thickets or anything like that, but it's figurative. Avoiding or eliminating junk food and sweets. Having a very strict limitation on that. Again, it's a disciplining of the appetite so that we have a consistent philosophy of this self-discipline lived out. Purity is to be upheld as the manly virtue. The fact that so few men ever master themselves in regard to purity and hence are ruled by their passions is the core reason for today's dearth of manly leadership. Indeed, it can well be said that he who is ruled by his lust is ruled by women and their feminine charms. And I love the fact that contraception is so widely in the news right now, and the church is teaching on it. You hardly would ever hear it in church, and now it's in the secular public. I think it's great. That way all Catholics know what the church's teaching is. And it's like a crack drug. They start giving it to kids in their teenage years, and again here, men never have to learn to control themselves. So they're addicted to that type of behavior since teenage years, and then once they get into marriage, can't be faithful to their wives. So that's why this is key, as he brings out here. You know, we have a bit of a unique opportunity because a few generations back, we didn't have the science of natural family planning that we have now. So this gives an opportunity to men to continue to practice this self-discipline on into marriage if necessary, if they have to, avoid a conception. It gives an opportunity. Why? Because as we talked about earlier, this discipline is consistent across all parts of our lives and can yield positive results in other areas. And I personally have experienced that myself, 21 years of marriage, and often on frequently having to practice it. And it has yielded positive results in the ways of health and wealth and family and on down the line, all areas of life, because of the consistent self-discipline that has to happen. And it starts with that number one thing. Control that, control anything else of the flesh.